Yo, Kaspa family, what's up with Kaspa right now? It just dropped down to a flash sale, and I really do like this buying opportunity. It's hovering just below 8.6 cents right now. It dropped down to as low in this 8.4 cent range, and it's beautiful. This is a flash sale that we gotta love. Okay, indicators are falling down pretty hard, but you have to think look big picture. Okay, this is on the 4-hour time frame, and it's seeing support. It's every single time it's dropped down to this type of support level, it rose back up. Let's take a look at a little bit of a bigger picture. Take a look at this. Okay, here's a weekly chart, and again, looking at these moving averages is very interesting. So we got this heavy downtrend. This is like a very macro downtrend. Okay, now this is more on the shorter term, and this shorter term is coming up. This was the bottom, and now we are converging upward. This is the reversal that I'm talking about. Yes, we have been in a long-term downtrend, but we're starting to see a breakout. It's going to need some more consolidation to really have all the averages, all the trends moving up. Right now, it has to consolidate for some more time, but I really do like this buying opportunity. Now let's look at the daily chart. So here again, you look at these moving averages. These are the trends that follows. It's just the average, Once it starts leveling out around here, you see this yellow line. It's very interesting. When it starts leveling out, after a nice fall, it has a good opportunity to rise back up. And I really do believe that's where we can see that 10-cent retest before we can, we have to reclaim 10 cent as a support level. That's going to be the ultimate bullish signal. Let's take a look now at some other really interesting charts. Look at Bitcoin dominance and compare it to other charts, okay? So here's Bitcoin dominance with respect to Kaspa. We're seeing a nice double bottom down here, okay? This can be forming and consolidating for a bit more time, but it's very good to see. And not just that, but also with Ethereum. Dang, dude, it couldn't be looking better than this, honestly. So this is the ultimate indicator for altcoin season. Ethereum is like the top dog. We got Bitcoin, then you got Ethereum. So it's been the Bitcoin dominance for such a long period now. Now we're starting to see ETH really take the reins from Bitcoin. And after ETH does that, altcoin season is going to follow closely behind Ethereum's rise. Now we're seeing this, again, double bottom, macro double bottom. Check this out, from 2020. It hasn't been this low since 2020, 5 years ago. So this is the cycle I'm talking about, that this right now, this low was the start of the bull cycle, okay? Altcoin cycle, altcoin season, a massive one is brewing right now. Take a look at this chart as well. So here is others. The others is basically excluding the top 10. And now here I'm really trying to keep it with respect to Bitcoin, so it paints a better picture of altcoin season. Again, all-time low on its macro indicators. This has been a very good indicator for even what's the peak. What has been the peak? You see the tops. All these tops have been great signals for the peak, and now again we're at this bottom point. These bottoms have also been incredible signals for very potential great macro reversal. Okay, so we are at the very depths of the bottom of altcoin season, and I really do believe that this reversal is going to come in the next 1 to 3 months. That's my opinion. And I really do believe it has already begun, basically. Again, we're seeing Bitcoin retest this down to the, it's retesting. Look at the 4-hour. Let's take a look at the daily chart. Hit the all-time, hit this, basically its all-time high. I was mentioning back in my Patreon, my Discord, take a look if you want. Join it, you feel free. I give my insights in a much more timely manner, rather than waiting for my videos. I was saying Bitcoin could come down to 100K, and that'd be a very bullish time to buy Kaspa. Kaspa was at 8 cents when Bitcoin came down here, and then that blasted off very quickly, and that momentum carried it up to 110K. And I was saying that as well in my past videos, that's the move that I was looking for. So now that it's all the way up here, it's gonna be it's gonna just have to consolidate. You could see it like a random walk type of mathematical trend where it's going to take just the consolidation is going to be volatile, and it may have to just be around here. There's even a chance it comes all the way back down here, and that'll take Kaspa back to 8 to 8.2 cents. It's going to be volatile, and that's something we have to understand while altcoin season is brewing. It's brewing, and this is going to be an extremely bullish push from the bottom, and you don't want to miss it. You want to have your bags now locked in, because once altcoin season happens, you're going to see that 30% gains in a day. And we were already seeing that. Okay, I mean, I hate to look at, some random meme coin, super degen meme coin, MOG, but take a look, okay, on the 9th, which is the big pump that, I was saying, price surge for Kaspa. I was kind of trying to anticipate that surge to really manifest in Kaspa. It was surging on Bitcoin. It was surging on these really degen meme coins. But Kaspa is coiling up, okay? Think of it like one of those springs. It's just loading. And once it explodes, it's going to be this type of explosive growth. It's going to be moving as if it was a meme coin, honestly. So here's like MOG, up 26% just on the 9th. And again, this macro trend is just moving upward. So yeah, it's going to take some time to consolidate. It's going to come back down and stuff like that. But that's all normal. And you have to understand that we are moving upward. This trend for alt season is going to power up everything, especially with the dollar, just terrible, awful. Also, another thing to look at, take a look at this, Kango, okay? Now, this is the MOG, this is the whiff, this is all the floky degen stuff that you gotta love to maximize profits. Get your bag early. Take a look at Nacho. It's like you gotta get your bag early. Get it while it's 5 million market cap, 10 million market cap, whatever it is. This is the type of stuff. It's always the largest asset on the blockchain. On every single blockchain, the largest asset is its meme coins. The top meme coin, the second largest meme coin. You got Nacho, you got Kango, and then all the other ones too. They're all great. Gotta love them. But these are the two that I think are just the ones that are going to be at the top of the block DAG. Let's take a look now at also the supply, okay, for Kaspa, and I'll tie it back into the meme coins later. So we got Kaspa Analytics showing all-time high. Supply has not moved. 72% of the supply has not moved. It's been inactive for over 3 months. That's insane. We're going to see basically the opposite of a bank run. You're going to have too much demand and the supply just isn't there. It's going to, it can very much turn into very explosive price growth very quickly. Now let's look at this as well. We see here, again, the 1 million, the sharks are basically the ones causing the movement of Kaspa with the downtrend. 100K plus, the dolphins continuing to accumulate on every single level. The 10 million plus, look at this, they're actually buying. They're not even as bearish as these sharks. So the whales are still a little bit more bullish than the sharks. Take a look at this one. This one's super interesting. So we see wallet number 2 accumulating. A good friend, he's in my Discord, Retep. Shout out to Retep. Not sure if I said that right, but he pointed out the fact that wallet number 2 is just below 3% of the total supply of Kaspa. Look at this. They just loaded up $600,000 of Kaspa just today. Look at those other wallets too. I mean, a lot of accumulation from these massive wallets. Probably exchanges, not going to lie. Not just wallet number 2. Look at wallet number 12, 15, 38. Like, these are massive, millions and millions of dollars of Kaspa. But that's so interesting that Binance might even require 3% of the supply in order to list. So, like, okay, to take a look at this post as well. Now, Binance, this is a post from 2024. Binance, at top end, requires projects to give away. Okay, so Kaspa's not giving away tokens. Kaspa doesn't have a pre-allocated supply to give away to exchanges like Binance. So what comes next? If medium expensive centralized exchanges require spending of up to 3% of the token supply. 3%. We're going to see that's 3%. My friend Retep, so I don't know how to pronounce that, but whichever way you pronounce it, he said, and you can't find the exact tweet, but he saw someone's mentioning that Binance requires 3% of the supply to list. So we're nearing that 3%. It's coming very close. So once this hits 3%, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what comes next. Keep an eye, maybe even turn notifications on with Binance, because 3% is a very big and even number. Okay, so something else that's interesting with Wintermute, for example, Wintermute is currently, locked in with Kango at 3.5% of the supply. It's also locked in with Kaspa, I believe, at tier 1 market maker. It doesn't specify Wintermute, but here it's 3.95, basically 4%. again, just around that 3% range. But Kaspa, I mean, it's Kaspa. It's worth so much more. So 3% is worth much more than these type of supplies. So it makes sense that the supply here for these meme coins is has to be higher. They can afford higher. Even Nacho, if I remember correctly, when they're in discussions with Wintermute, it was something like being asked for 4% or 3.5%. I forget exactly. So Wintermute is a tier one market maker that works with Binance, works with other tier one exchanges. So again, for Binance to be asking and to try to acquire 3% of the supply of Kaspa, I think is a very reasonable thing that could be what they're waiting on, that they need that 3% to lock that in and to have enough liquidity on their platform to give users the ability to trade and all that type of thing. And they're going to be earning on trading fees as a market maker. And that's also a large part of their own investment, I think. I highly doubt they're going to give away like an airdrop because, I mean, you really don't need to with Kaspa. You just market it and share the knowledge of what it is, and that's enough of an airdrop to get people in and buying. That's all the hype you need to advertise what Kaspa is. That's all the marketing material you really need. You don't need any airdrop. So very interesting take, and the most interesting take I've heard for wallet number 2, in my opinion. So I'll definitely come back on this and see, especially when it nears 3%, and we'll see what's going on. So again, with this like total supply of tokens, it's something else. Like you see Zeal taking the number 1 spot, KRC20, and it's like, in all honesty, like they're incredible. Their testnet's been running really well. They have a big audit that happened. They conducted an audit. It was successful. I believe it was successful, but it's a really prominent auditing company auditing Zeal and their smart contracts and everything about their code. But the thing is, with this whole pre-allocated supply, 100% pre-mint, like, bruh, 650 holders, like, bruh. You take a look at the distribution. It's like so few people hold. It's the same exact deal as PPCAS. Like, they came out of nowhere. The thing is, in order to buy any percent of the supply, it's going to raise the price a lot because there's just not that much circulating supply. So that's the thing with Zeal right now. A lot of people hype it up right now. They're like, yo, buy it up. But the thing is, once a lot of this supply starts getting into the open market, look at this, 78%. A lot of from the farms, from the staking, all that stuff, you're going to gain rewards for it. And that's going to be just money dumped on to the market. Whether it's dumped or not, it's going to be circulating. Once it starts circulating, that's where it's going to really reveal its true value. And I'm going to be honest, I think it's going to drop quite a bit. So people that are buying it, there's just like, you buy it until, that's one way to play it. Buy it until until the layer 2, until the smart contract protocol actually releases, because until it releases, it's not going to have this supply and circulation. Do I think it's a bad investment? No, not at all. I think it's going to be a great way to leverage your Kaspa. But do I think it's going to win over the top meme coins? No, I don't believe that. And you take a look just look at the examples out there. Look at Uniswap, look at PancakeSwap, look at the Flare one on Solana. Look at all these different dexes and then compare them to their top meme coins on the blockchain. And you'll realize that the top meme coins always perform better, significantly better. They reach twice the market cap, 3 times, 4 times the market cap. So that's why my money is largely in the top meme coins of Kaspa. Primarily Nacho and Kango, but all these other ones down here, they're pretty cool too. So what else is there? Oh yeah, shout out to Kaspa Life. This guy, made a cool post. Here he is talking about YouTubers, talking about Kaspa, no paid, no scripts, no paid promotions, none of that. Totally 100% organic, grass-fed marketing. And that's what powers Kaspa, because again, it's not the airdrop that powers Kaspa. It's just the technology. That technology fuels the passion, because once you have something that is provenly the best, the most superior technologically speaking, just the price follows. That's what fuels the price. That's what fuels the passion behind holding and investing and trying to spread and help others get into it, because you know for a fact that they're going to make very good money long term. That's why I do it, and that's why I'm so happy to do it, and I am very passionate about it. So he made this website here. It's like a way to empower the community with creating social media content. It seems kind of cool. This is awesome. Getting builders in the space, making stuff like this. This is pretty cool. I'm very excited to see other things that pop up, especially linking them to smart contracts. And check this out. South Korea unveils plans to allow crypto stablecoins. Like, you can't get more and more governments around the world, countries, not just companies, but countries, are accepting and being very positive around crypto. SEC chair again says the right to self-custody crypto is founded as a foundational American value. Yeah, bullish. Oh, this is super cool too. Shout out to Moose is Loose. This guy's a legend too. And Bank Quote. Here we go. It's very, very interesting. I mean, if you're into like electrical engineering or thermodynamics and physics, this is really, really cool way to think about the value of Kaspa with the wattage equal the cost of production. So this cost of production is something only proof of work has. So proof of stake does not have a cost of production. It's just you have to have a lot of money and you stake it, and then it just prints you infinite money, essentially. It has its own little like inflation rate, but with cost of production, this gives an inherent value for every single coin mined on Kaspa, and you could really make a really interesting models with that, and people do it with Bitcoin to really try to figure out what's the real baseline underlying value of Bitcoin currently, taking the average of the mined coins and the average amount of time held from these miners and all these other different factors is pretty interesting. Again, supply and demand is the current, stock to flow. The stock to flow is also extremely interesting. Stock to flow refers to the amount of supply that is out there, the amount of supply left to be circulating. Kaspa report, he's always making these incredible reports on Kaspa. So here he's talking about the stock to flow for Kaspa. The ratio will soon overtake, it's going to surpass silver very quickly. Then in 2 years, it can overtake gold. And in 3 years, Bitcoin. So it's going to be, stock to flow basically represents how rare the commodity is. So let's take a look at what else he's been posting, because I think he made another post about the stock to flow. Yeah. Mid-30s will be rising so rapidly that it can entirely eclipse the effects of Bitcoin halvings. So basically, like, the cycles for Kaspa is going to be much less, I think, linked to what Bitcoin does, and more so about take a look at like the other, this one, the supply and demand basically is going to be the large factor. Stock to flow is going to become less of a factor. It's going to be such low resistance that it's going to rely on cost of production and supply versus demand. So this is going to be a very interesting thing. And when this cost of production, it's going to be like the cost of production is also linked to stock to flow, because you have cost of production, but then you have less of an emission schedule, less coins going to be mined as time goes on. So this cost of production is going to not have as much of an effect because it's linked to stock to flow. And really interesting model there. What else do we have? Okay, now this alt season. So it's not just me, preaching about it every other video, but like other analysts and stuff are noticing. Check this out. I mean, June 15th. That's kind of crazy thinking about that. There's some weird trend on every June 15th that starts the altcoin season. But you separate it by quite a few years. What is this? Every 4 years, the altcoin season apparently starts on June 15th, and that's coming up. It's June 10th right now? Yeah, no, June 11th. So few days. Honestly, I could see it. I could really see it. I really think that the alt season already started. So I guess maybe we're like right here where it technically already started at this low. Maybe this is the retest, and boom, there we have it. So technically, I guess we could see a retest of like, all-time low, but we'll see. And if that retest does come, like you better be, holding your bags. You better be doubling down on what you have, because that is going to be an extremely rare opportunity to maximize your bags before this alt altcoin season, because it's going to be huge. It's going to be real huge, especially with the whole, Bitcoin getting so much mainstream attention. So the amount of money in the whole sphere is so much bigger than it was in 2021, and so much, which was so much bigger than in 2017 as well. And it seems like the government is going to just keep pumping, printing money and just injecting liquidity into the U.S. markets and global markets by extension. So this altcoin season could very much be powered by a lot of different factors, especially by the economy at large. With the dollar losing value, the crypto narrative is going to just keep getting powered and powered up. So yeah, it's definitely looking good. Get your exposure to these meme coins, and also with smart contracts coming up, layer 2s, Casplex coming very soon. My guess is in the next month. Definitely interesting opportunities that may arrive. But you have to be very aware that there's going to be a lot higher risk with smart contract tokens than there was risk with KRC20. And there was still noticeably a lot of different scams in the KRC20 ecosystem that have come up, that came and gone, different things for different ways to scam. Like, for example, having such a high supply, or having such a high mintable supply that will never get minted. Things like teams just ghost, dev team basically ghosting, so a slow rug where it needs a community takeover. But the thing with smart contract tokens is that the dev will be able to create a contract that could completely rug the liquidity of their own token. So it's like you have to be extremely, extremely careful, way more careful than you were with KRC20, because these were just inscriptions. Now with smart contracts, it's going to be a whole other ballpark. So it's going to be interesting as well to see how Moonbound gets adopted within the ecosystem, because it's a very safe, it's much safer to launch and invest in tokens on Moonbound, because Moonbound has a really structured way of locking liquidity, having liquidity available to purchase, like having tokens available to purchase up to a certain, up to 50,000 market cap, and then all those tokens and that liquidity gets sent to a Zealous swap as locked liquidity. Yeah, there's this whole process, all these steps to it, but you have to just be extremely careful, especially because when you start interacting with other tokens and other dApps, for example, on layer 2, then you just don't know what's going to come next. You don't know if it's going to give wallet access to a bad actor, to a bad dApp, bad decentralized application, and then there you go, it just wipes all your money. So you just have to be extremely, extremely careful. So you have to do heavy research, do your own research before putting money into anything, and divvy up your wallets. Like, have a wallet for this, have a wallet for that, have a cold wallet where you don't interact with any dApp. You have to keep things really strict and separated, especially with these smart contract protocols. And it's very interesting, with Casplex, and then Eager Labs is going to come online at Q4 2025, and we'll see when the ZK opcodes release, because once they release, we're going to have much easier time interacting between layer 2 protocols. Layer 2 includes KRC20. So KRC20 is in it of itself is a layer 2. And once you can be able to have such interoperability between layers, I think we're going to see much greater adoption of Kaspa smart contracts. But we need those ZK opcodes, the zero knowledge proof opcodes, implemented on Kaspa itself for these layer 2s to be able to communicate much more seamlessly without the need to use, I'm not sure if they will need to use a bridge in that case, but they'll be able to basically use smart contract logic. Yeah, they'll be able to use smart contract logic from other layers, from other even blockchains down the line, without having to move funds to that other blockchain. So interesting, down the line. This is the early stages, so just keep in mind that development's going to keep going and it's going to keep powering adoption. So this is where we're at with Kaspa. So yeah, does it deserve to be at 100 billion market cap right now? Maybe it deserves to be at 50 billion. But once it reaches, it's going to reach 100 billion because of its massive adoption of smart contracts just powering the ecosystem. Like this of it, Kaspa could still succeed without smart contracts, but this is the final like cherry on top. It's not just any smart contract protocol, but it is revolutionary smart contracts because it brings about ZK-based rollups, something that is just impossible on any other blockchain. Ethereum has never been able to use it or implement it. Even Solana has doesn't even have a layer 2. It has the smart contracts built into the native layer 1. But the problem with Solana is that its native layer 1 is not even good. It has its downtimes. It's not even as fast as and scalable as Kaspa. It's not nearly as decentralized as Kaspa. And again, downtime. A lot of transaction failure, like 75% transaction failure once the network gets a little congested. Like, that's terrible. So you have to have, like, Kaspa has the best of both worlds with Solana being able to have that very, like, without that, basically, Solana does a great job with the smart contracts because it doesn't have these type of bridged or these type of walled gardens. I think that was the term Jonathan was saying. So Solana doesn't have these walled gardens because everything is on the native layer 1. Ethereum has walled gardens because everything is on its own layer 2 token protocol, and these layer 2s they can't communicate between each other. But with ZK based rollups, it'll have atomic composability where these layer 2s can communicate with each other simultaneously at the same time in parallel with no issue. Now this is something, and while running the sequencing directly through Kaspa layer 1 and the settlement directly through Kaspa layer 1, this is the end. Like, this is the end game for all smart contracts, honestly. And we're gonna see where eventually Kaspa have and develop its own virtual machine. So this basically VM would be able to compete with EVM, Ethereum virtual machine. We won't need to rely on Ethereum's own virtual machine. I think that's something Kaspa is having in development. We'll see down the line when it actually has like some more of an ETA for release. I was talking with Kaspador about that, and he doesn't even know what's that going to be all about. But I think that's going to be something very, very interesting to bring much greater, basically decentralization and scalability, and less reliance on a third party, like less reliance on Ethereum. Have this very Kaspa-centric virtual machine, which can take advantage of all that Kaspa's blockchain has to offer. So it's going to be very interesting down the road, especially as Dagnite releases, being able to integrate all these different features together. So you have got to look end game and just realize this is the bottom for Kaspa. Like, if we see this retest down here, I don't think we're going to, but if we do, you have to realize that you're not going to have another as good an opportunity as that like ever again, in my opinion. Like, let's take a look at Solana right now. So here we go. It hit this top of this weekly average, so it's going to need time to consolidate. We look at the monthly, and again, it's just so heavy moving upward. The trend is very strong. So you look on the weekly, it's a bit weak. Look on the monthly, it's extremely strong. So what does that mean? It means it's going to come back down a little bit, and then it's going to blast off. That's where it is, basically. And now Ethereum as well. It's a bit weak on the 4-hour chart. We look again at the daily. Yeah, there's a lot of there's a big gap right here. But again, the trend is moving up. This trend is moving up. This was the breakout, which is huge, very huge for Ethereum. And again, the trend is moving up. Check on the monthly, and again, it's a below average. And we see that as well with the total 2, basically excluding Bitcoin with respect to gold, and it's well below average for comparing it to hard money. Let's take a look at the weekly real quick. Weekly, it's doing excellent. Again, it has opportunity to consolidate. That's for sure. We'll see where that consolidation exactly happens. And you see with Kaspa, you just take a look at these different averages, make it down to like a 10-day moving average, make it a little bit more recent. You see the trends moving up, and it's basically at the crossroads right now. We're going to have to consolidate and have the trends decide what comes next. I really do believe this is still going to be consolidating, and then it's going to be powered up as we reach the start of the altcoin season. So should you be worried right now? Not at all. Should you be buying? Absolutely. You should be buying and taking advantage of every single dip that you see, in my opinion. Because these whales, they certainly are. Wallet number 2, it buys all the time. So it's almost at that 3% mark. And once it reaches this 3%, blast off. We could really see, I really do believe we'll see a possible listing, or someone's going to reveal who owns this at 3%. I think it's going to be Binance. They were the first ones as well to list it on futures. That was about last year. So they've been heavy. They've been working heavy for about an entire year as well. This wallet loading up. So we'll see. If it doesn't list at 3%, it may have to be 3.5%. We're gonna have to see what exact number does this start to level out at. So that's it for now.